J.K. Dobbins behind Herbert. Hand off to J.K. He's through the line. Breaks a tackle into the end zone. Touchdown! Chargers! J.K. Dobbins.
Back a healthy J.K. Dobbins, and boy, did he look good in this Chargers backfield, Jay.
He did. I mean, he looked super explosive. He has this thing, though, where as soon as he gets into the open field, he just, it just dies.
Right, the gears go,
happened in
crashing
Baltimore
down.
as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's going to get better as he gets more conditioned. But, no, I think even more than the fantasy production, it was a kind of a 50-50 split with Gus Edwards. Just the story of J.K. Dobbins, what he's overcome. That offensive line looked really good. And I think they're going to lean on the run a ton. So J.K. Dobbins, look, he's not going to break those 50-type yarders all the time. As we can see his comparison with Gus Edwards, 10 carries for Dobbins versus 11 for Edwards. But Dobbins gets in the end zone and has those 2 big runs. So very exciting for J.K. Dobbins.
Great story, obviously, as well. And I think the exciting thing there is just 3 receptions, 4 yards. You're like, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that he got, that J.K. Dobbins got 3 targets. And he caught all 3 balls. If he's going to be involved at all in the passing game, which we don't expect Gus Edwards to be, I think that becomes exciting as well. This was a little bit of the hot hand, so he got the hot hand, but it's a great story as well. So kudos to you if you grab J.K. Dobbins late in your draft. At Carolina, at Pittsburgh, home to Kansas City are the next 3. You feel good about that upcoming schedule. Pittsburgh's not a great matchup, but you feel really good. I got a feeling J.K. Dobbins is going to make the love list next week at Carolina.
A guy that is always involved in the pass game, Matthew, Alvin Kamara, but it was on the ground this week where it stood out. 15 carries, 83 yards, he gets the touchdown, and he was getting the ball in the red zone.
Yeah, again, it was Carolina. But, kudos to the Saints that just absolutely dominated Carolina as well. Alvin Kamara becomes, again, sort of this cheat code. We talked about him a lot in the preseason where it's Jamal Williams, not really much. You got to know, by the way, we're blowing him out touchdown. Kendra Miller not really there. They've got some Taysom Hill, but just, again, cheap volume. Alvin Kamara is just another one of these guys that we were just going too late in drafts because he's snoozy and boring, but it's going to be cheap volume. I don't think this is that much of a fluke. They're not going to blow teams out by 30 points the way they did the Panthers, but Alvin Kamara is going to be the focal point of this offense quite a bit.
Jay, a massive upset for the Patriots over the Bengals, and it was really on the back of Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, this offense is going to be very conservative all season long. As long as Jacoby Brissett doesn't turn it over, ball control. 2022, Ramondre was an elite fantasy option. 1,000 yards out of the backfield.
Just needs to be healthy.
It just needs to stay healthy. And look, against the Bengals had a terrible rushing defense last year. They were 28th in terms of success rate. But Ramondre is going to be a huge part of this offense. And if there's one guy you want in the Patriots offense, it's Ramondre, and it's not close.
I would agree with that, but I'm going to play the role of Jay here and be slightly negative. It's a great story, by the way, and he was on my hate list. I will own this. This is a bad call by me this week. Unbelievable game for Stevenson. Here's an upcoming schedule, though. Home to Seattle, really good run defense that just shut down Denver. At the Jets, at San Francisco, home to Miami. I feel like Ramondre Stevenson's value right now is as high as it's going to be all season long. They're clearly going to try to lean on him, but there's nothing going on in that passing game. Better defenses are going to be we're going to make Jacoby Brissett beat us.
The Vikings take care of business against the Giants quite easily, Matthew. Aaron Jones, almost 19 fantasy points. He gets 14 carries. Very effective with them, 94 yards, and gets the touchdown.
This is what happens when you free Aaron Jones. The entire Vikings offense looked pretty good. Jones, as healthy as he's been all year, 6th straight game with 100 total yards dating back to last season, including the playoffs as well. He averaged 6.7 yards per carry. He had 5 different runs of 10 or more yards. The explosiveness was there, the creativity in the backfield. And by the way, Sam Darnold looked good enough in this game that teams aren't going to be able to focus on the run game again because of Jefferson, because of how well Sam Darnold played. Hope springs eternal that he stays healthy, and Ty Chandler's an important insurance back to roster. But for now, Aaron Jones locked in as a top 20 running back.
Jay, a tough loss for the Titans, but Tony Pollard, one of their big offseason acquisitions and signings, looked really, really good, and he kind of made his stamp that he's the guy, not Tajay Spears.
So this is maybe the most fantasy relevant thing out of any backfield. That Tony Pollard had 16 carries, Tajay Spears had 4. Will Levis's second half was like the end of Requiem for a Dream, if you've seen that movie, the final 5 minutes of that, which I won't spoil because I don't do that. But it was just all collapsed around him. But Tony Pollard in the first half in particular looked like the guy that he was supposed to be last year.
All right, Sunday Scaries. This is where it gets tough here, guys, and we got to start with those Bengals and Joe Burrow. Notoriously a slow starter, Matthew, 8.1 fantasy points.
This is brutal. Look, I get it. No T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase was limited, and the Patriots are a good defense. Give credit to Patriots. Like, it's a
But
good
not this
defense.
good.
Come on. Stop it. Like, he was bad. The offense was bad. You know, Zach Taylor's offense was not creative at all. Like, you know, his average depth of the target was 5.6 yards. It's all dinky and dunk. He had 3 attempts, literally just 3 attempts of 15 or more yards downfield. You have Jamar Chase. What are we doing, people? This was brutal. They're on the road at Kansas City next week as well. A Chiefs team, by the way, that has had 10 days to prepare for whatever that was in Cincinnati. Just absolutely brutal. His first game without a touchdown pass since week 4 of last season. Like, embarrassing. It was bad. That was a bad day.
Another brutal
bad day
one.
at the office. I blame the offense, not Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
for the record.
It was all not good.
Right.
And a little bit of the same was the Falcons for Drake London, Jay. Not a good day for Kirk Cousins, alarming day I would call it, and that had a trickle effect on Drake London.
Yep. Best player in football I saw yesterday was TJ Watt. He completely wrecked that game. He wrecked the passing game for the Falcons. Didn't have it on my bingo card that Ray McLeod was going to get 7 targets to Drake London's 3. I'm kind of throwing that game out because it was the first game Kirk Cousins, Steel's defense was so great. Still not a good sign for Cousins the way he looked, or that Drake London got such little usage.
I thought he looked terrible. Drake London did run a lot of routes. Hopefully better days are ahead. Drake London killed me in a couple leagues. But I will just say this. $100 million guaranteed contract. If we're going to give Deshaun Watson all sorts of crap for his big money that he's not producing, that's awful for somebody that just got a $100 million contract.
Wow.
He looked bad.
Putting him under the mic. I like
I'm just saying, right?
No, he looked
Kirk
good.
Cousins, you lost at home to a team that only put up 6 field goals.
I was looking up Michael Penix's offensive rookie
Mike
of the year
Penix
odds.
time.
Yeah.
It will be
That was
sooner rather
awful.
than later. Last one here, Matthew. Cris Olave. It's great the Saints almost scored 50 points. They didn't need Olave to do anything in this game.
They absolutely did not. Better days are ahead for Cris Olave. And, you know, the Panthers at least have a good defense. Other side of the ball in that game, Deontay Johnson, absolutely brutal. Saw a lot of Marshawn Lattimore. I know, they're awful. Bryce Young did not look good, but I do feel like better days are ahead for Deontay Johnson based on volume. And last thing with Amari Cooper, bad game there. But again, Watson looked awful. But they're not always going to play Dallas every week. Cooper, I think, will still get his.
But they
Good
might have
word.
Watson every week.
They might have Watson every week.
Bryce Young and Deshaun Watson's like Chuck Knobloch throwing at first base at the moment. Like, they
These
just
are-
seem dumb.
These
They
are
both
all
seem dumb.
players, like,
They
I'm
both
not
seem
panicking
absolutely
just yet.
dumb.
I'm raising my eyebrow,
I'm
but I'm
panicked.
not panicked just yet on these guys. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.